Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be talking about Warehouse War 4, which is going to be the biggest event taking place this weekend in America, coming in at a B+ tier. And our top 16 seeds are going to be Danny, Ice Knight, UKIT, and Sonito in 13th, Goblin, Mugen, Doorstop, and Humpy in 9th, and 7th you got Chunky Kong and Omega, 5th is Jazo Skyj, 4th is MK Leo, 3rd is Mudace, 2nd is Zomba, and projected to win the entire thing is Shiny Mark. The main focus of this video is going to be in the top 8, honestly just the top 4 of this tournament because it is so top heavy, but really quickly I will go over these winners round 2s and winners quarters matches just to see if there are any potential upsets, starting off with Shiny Mark versus Ice Knight, and I would be pretty shocked if Shiny Mark ended up losing this one considering that he's coming into the event incredibly hot, and also I just think Pikachu does well versus Greninja. The offstate edge guards are absolutely free and you're able to low profile a lot of his stuff, so Shiny Mark should be fine there. Then you're going to have Chunky Kong versus Doorstop, and ZSS is definitely favored versus Donkey Kong. Same thing with Pokemon Trainer, both characters at Doorstop's disposal, and Doorstop's actually really good, but I'm still going to be going with Chunky Kong to win this one because he is also really good. The amount of optimization that he has done for Donkey Kong is honestly ludicrous, and he's made his character single-handedly like tiers, well maybe not whole tiers better, but maybe one or half a tier better. He's just done so much work, and I think you're going to be able to see that in this set, but not in the Shiny Mark set. I mean, it's Pikachu Donkey Kong. It's not happening. It better not happen. Then you're going to have MK Leo versus Danny, and I think if one of the top seeds is going to get upset, it's going to be actually right here. Danny is crazy at this game, and Wolf is just one of those characters where you can just win. You have the tools if you're playing better than your opponent, no matter really what character they're playing, to just get your stray hits, get your super good confirms. You're just a solid character, and you have a really solid player in Danny. Now, MK Leo is still going to be the favorite. I am going to also pick him to win, but I want to highlight Danny because I think he has a real chance to win that one. Then you're going to have Jazo versus Humpy, and I'm honestly not super sure who is going to win this one. I'm going to go with Jazo just because I was so impressed by him at the last event I saw him at. I honestly don't remember what it was. I think it was Momocon, but don't quote me on that one. Regardless, though, he looked incredible at that event. So if he's playing like that, then I would expect him to fight Leo for this top 8 qualifier, but I would expect Leo to take it. He's really good versus FGC characters, and I just think that Joker does amazing versus them as well, so tough draw for Jazo. Next top seed is going to be Zomba, and his first opponent is going to be likely Zonito, or I guess his second opponent here. But I do think that Zomba is going to win that one. He's beaten Sonic before. I think Rob actually does pretty well versus Sonic. You have Nair to deal with the spin dash moves, as well as Laser and Gyro disrupting Sonic from across the stage. So he's not able to do that normal camping game plan, at least as effectively as he usually is. So Zomba definitely should be winning that one. Then you're going to have Omega versus Goblin. And I don't think that matchup is super swingy into either character's favor. I'd honestly call it even between Roy and Joker. So purely just based off form, I am going to be giving this one to Omega. I've been very impressed by this player recently, but this is honestly like a 55-45 matchup. It should be a very good set. And then you're going to have Zomba versus Omega, and I do think that Zomba is going to win that one. Every time he's played a past or top Joker in the past, he has come out on top, but I do think Omega has a very real chance. I'll talk about Omega just a little bit later on in the video, and I'll do later on, so let's move on. Then you're going to have Mudace versus UKIT. Now, I believe UKIT is a Jigglypuff and Hero player. As you can see, I had to look them up on PG Stats. No offense, of course, but Mudace should win that. Like, I'm just very confident that Mudace is going to be fine versus those characters. I think Hero is the better choice of the two because you do have that nice disjoint, and there are a couple spells that can easily ruin Mudace's microspacing. But I'm just expecting Mudace to play our def. Again, no offense to UKIT. It feels like I'm dogging on him here, but Mudace is just very good. Then you're going to have Skyj versus Mugen, and I can almost guarantee you that Mugen has never played an Incineroar on Skyj's level. Now, he is good enough to take out a player of Skyj's caliber, so the upset isn't unthinkable, but I still am going to be picking Skyj to win that one. And finally, you have Mudace versus Skyj, and Mudace is the heavy favorite in this set. This is honestly the set that I'm the most confident someone is going to win because you have the best microspacer in the entire world versus the slowest character in the game. And you can kind of just visualize how that set goes. Basically, it's Mudace having a lot of fun and Skyj trying his best to hit him. And we're not going to be doing the loser side of the bracket just because straight up, I do not think it will matter at all for this event. To be honest, all that really matters is very likely going to be this top 4 because it's just super top heavy. I think if I had to give percentages for people to win this tournament, I'd say Shiny Mark is at a 33%. He's coming pretty hot into this event. I'll give Leo, Zomba, Mudace all the same percentage. You know, it's a new season, so 22 for all of them, let's say. And then that is a 1% chance for everyone else in this tournament. And I am honestly very confident in saying that, you know what, that might even be too high. Maybe I got to give another 0.5 to Shiny Mark. But let's actually talk about some of the possibilities, which players can actually potentially get into this top 4, and more importantly, how. And funnily enough, I think it's actually everyone in this loser side of the seeded top 8, Chunky Kong, Omega, Skyjay, Jazzo. Anyone else, I do not think they have a chance of getting top 4. Do you know what? Doorstop. Doorstop can do it. He is goated, and that Squirtle goes crazy. But everyone else, not a chance. And I think the player that is in the top 4 seed that has the highest chance of getting in that top 4 is actually going to be Chunky Kong, just because of how the bracket works for him. So he's going to have to fight Zomba in the winner side. If he wins that, you know, top 8, awesome. If he loses that, he is going to go down to the loser side projected right here. But regardless, his top 4 qualifier is going to be versus Mutates, unless Mutates just, like, loses earlier on, in which case it'll be against an easier opponent, presumably. But we all saw Mutates lose to Duplex recently, and I actually think Donkey Kong does good enough versus Peach. The matchup's probably like even or in Peach's favor, but that DK advantage state is just so good versus Peach. And Peach's advantage state honestly isn't super strong. It's just her damage output is so good that you never really notice, but you're not getting a ton of juggles with Peach. So DK, the main weakness of the character, and he still gets struggled because it's still Donkey Kong. Even Peach can do it with Float especially, but it's not as big of an issue as it is in most matchups. So if Chunky Kong can overcome Jazzo, which I do think is going to be pretty difficult, I think he's got a really good chance versus Mutates. And for the other 3 players, I don't think the matchups are necessarily as important. It's really going to come down to just how well are they playing on that specific day. And starting off with Skyjay, he has beaten Leo before, so this isn't impossible, but I do think it is very unlikely. Joker and Cinnamon is honestly really tough. I have no idea how he managed to take that initial set, to be honest, and I don't know if he will ever accomplish it again. And the other matchups aren't that much better. As I already said, Mutates potentially his worst straw. Zomba sucks. Shiny Mark Pikachu in Cinnamon. Low-key, though, that one set they played, I believe it was at Delta, was close. So it's not unthinkable to say that Skyjay could beat Shiny Mark Pikachu, is an extremely light character as well. So you're able to kill super early, especially if you have revenge. So you know what? That's what I'm going to say. I think if Skyjay wants to get top 8, he has to hope that Shiny Mark loses to MKLeo, which, spoilers, I don't think will happen. And then he actually has to get the dub, which I think will be extremely difficult. But the rat is light. And for Omega and Jazzo, it's honestly just going to be purely how the players are playing at this event, the form that they are in. But to be honest, I have pretty high hopes for both of these guys. As I already established, Jazzo is playing so well at MomoCon. If he continues to play like that at this event, which I personally don't think he will, just because he would be a top 30 player out of nowhere, then he would have a very real chance of making it into this top 4. You cannot write him out, but I don't think it's super likely. And for Omega, he's just been slowly getting better every single event I see this guy go to. And I actually think Omega is the best Joker player in the world at using gun. I think maybe you could give it to Tsubaki as well, but Tsubaki's results haven't been super good recently, and Omega's have been the best they ever have been. I feel like the second this guy gets his first major top 8 is going to absolutely snowball, and I know this isn't a major, but getting top 4 at this event is pretty much getting top 8 at a major. You're going to have to beat someone that is a major caliber player anyway, and while Omega has what it takes, these are all some uphill battles. So let's actually get into this top 4. You got Shiny Mark Leo on one side and Zomba Mutates on the other side. And for Shiny Mark Leo, Shiny Mark is going to be the heavy favorite going into this set. I don't believe he's ever dropped a set to Leo offline, and I just think Pikachu does really well versus Joker. The character's hard to hit. You get edge guards. Pikachu's T-Jolt is really annoying. It's just not a fun matchup, and I honestly wouldn't be super shocked if you saw Roy come out from MKLeo. I definitely think that's a better choice, but I also haven't seen the Leo Roy in like 2 months or something at this point, so it might be dead, but don't be surprised if it comes out. I don't think that's a terrible option, but regardless of the character choice, I do think Shiny Mark is the favorite in that set. They're going to have Zomba versus Mutates. I believe that is a 4-2 record in Zomba's favor, but I know that Mutates has taken their more recent sets, most notably at Patchwork, where he ends up winning in the Grand Finals. Now, I do think that Zomba is going to win this one. He's got the overall record, and it just seems like whenever Zomba comes into a season, he starts super hot. And obviously, every pro wants to start hot, but Zomba started last season by literally winning Genesis. Like, you cannot start a season hotter than... I guess he didn't do amazing the Japan trip, but you know what? He won Cafeteria Cup too. He starts off the seasons strong, and I think Zomba has a very real chance of becoming the best player in the world, and it's going to have to start with this event right here. He's going to have to kick it off strong, and he is also going to be aware that he's succeeded on the biggest stage before. He's reassured himself, you know what, I'm clearly good enough to be the best. Now he just has to go and do it, and this is just the first step. And as I've already established, I'm very confident this top 4 is going to be the top 4, even though there are possibilities for upsets. I'm not going to be predicting them. So our top 4 is Shiny Mark Zomba in the winner side and Mutates Leo in the loser side. exactly like it's seated. And unfortunately for you viewers at home, I'm going to continue to be boring and just agree with the seating on this one. I do think that Shiny Mark is going to be Zombo. Rob Pikachu is very difficult for Rob. The character is just so big, and Pikachu is really good at comboing. I also think Pikachu honestly gets some pretty good value out of Gyro, just considering on hit the character doesn't do a lot of damage, but with Gyro you can get like 30% pretty much instantly if you're good with the Gyro combos. Of course, you're also going to have Pikachu having drag down, so there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do there. Basically, it's just another way that Pikachu can get damage if Shiny Mark even needs it, because some of those combos that he was pulling out of Smash Factor were ridiculous. So I'm going to say that he wins that one. Then you're going to have Mutace versus MKLeo, and you have Mutace winning their last 2 encounters. He actually has not lost to MKLeo since they played at Genesis, and to be fair, they've only played twice, but still looking good there for Mutace. That's a pretty clean record, and I think it's going to hold up here until Leo actually proves that he can beat Mutace again. I'm just going to be going with Mutace to win this one. So that means in the losers finals, you're going to have Zomba versus Mutace. And I do think that Mutace is going to win the run back. And there are 2 fundamental reasons for that. The first one is going to be, I just don't want to predict the exact seeding. But hey, the seeders did a good job. Like, you can't get mad at me. But the second reason is going to be, I think the later Mutace gets into a tournament, the scarier he becomes. Because every single person that he beats, it just proves that he's playing well. And that's really the big issue with Mutace. It doesn't even matter who he's playing against. It matters how he is playing. He goes from like 1 to 99. Even in games, you can see him just like do a crazy combo and then he'll drop like the easiest thing in the world. It really is just kind of the monkey's paw of playing Peach. You have a high-tech character. You're not going to be able to do all the high-tech all the time, but you get the point that I'm saying. Mutace, he's playing well. He would have had to beat MKLeo at this point. He's going to be ready for his run back in that top 3. He's going to be playing hot, and he's going to be playing good enough to get into that grand finals through the loser side, where then he will lose to Shiny Mark. I do think that Shiny Mark is going to win this event. I know, spoilers, it's crazy. How could you have predicted that one? But he's just been playing so well. Pikachu is ridiculously broken, and he is going to keep the streak going. 2 big tournament wins in a row. Let's see how long we can get it. And with that, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the sport. It's been absolutely unreal as of late. I know this wasn't your normal prediction video, but hey, the top 4 of this event was really, really interesting, and everything else was interesting, but not as much. So anyways, I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!